You're a gladiator in the arena and you're fighting to the death.
Easy to learn, easy to die.
It's Carthage.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, we want to encourage you to do it. Click the button, subscribe, and like this video. Share it if you enjoy our preview of this game.
All right, today we're looking at Carthage. It is a Kickstarter game, so everything that we're seeing here could change. The Kickstarter starts
17th,
17th, and you can just kind of take a look at what we got here. The game basically is an arena fighting Spartacus type game.
Yeah, totally. So in this game, it is this arena, and you have a character, so they're going to have these miniatures in the game, which are kind of cool. And then everybody gets a starting deck of cards because this is a deck builder game.
Yeah, very cool.
Now, the best way that I can describe this game is like what you said. It is Spartacus, the fighting aspect of Spartacus, but with a deck builder.
Right.
And so instead of rolling dice and saying if you win or lose, you are playing cards to see if you win or lose. And
now, this game to me, feels like the missing component to Spartacus. Yeah. So Spartacus, when you actually go to fight, you're just rolling some dice and that's it. That's all there is to it. This part is all about the fighting. So and then we're sitting there going, you use your cards to do different things, give you different abilities.
So let's quickly kind of tell you how the game plays so you can figure out if this is something that you want to back. So at the beginning of the game, they're going to tell you how to set up the board. So you're going to have these tokens that get put out on the board in a certain scenario, whatever the scenario is for that round. Right, and then you everybody gets to take a turn and, place their character somewhere around the edge of the board.
And it's 2 to 5 player.
Yeah, 2 to 5, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then on your turn, everybody has a starting deck of cards. You shuffle those, and then each person is going to draw 5 cards into their hand. And then these are going to be the cards that you get to use on your turn. They have what are called theater cards, and these theater cards are turned out over every round, and then these give you some kind of a special scenario. So like this one says, excitement of the theater. All players gain 1 favor, and we'll talk about favor in a second. But you will take turns one at a time playing one of the cards from your hand down into your discard pile and then doing that. And you have to do it. And you do it left or right, which is kind of important on the card. And then once you've done that, so then it would be Rod's turn. And then he plays a card. Then the next person, they play a card. It comes back to me. I play my next card. Right. And so you have a little bit of strategy in what you play and when you play it. But you have to use what's in your hand. And unless we missed it, there are no cards in the game that let you draw more cards. So all the cards that you play on a turn are just those 5 cards. So what's in the cards? What can you do on your cards? They have a few simple movements, very simple symbols to understand. You have a hit symbol, and so it's got this little blood splatter. And so this blood splatter means that if you are right next to a person, you do that many damage to them. The other thing that you can get on your turn are favor points. And favor points are what you're going to be accumulating on a turn, and then you're going to be using at the end to buy a card. Exactly. And that is all done in turn order, which can be very important. And so just because there's a card out there that you want doesn't mean it'll be there when you get to it. Right. And then the other thing that you can do on a turn is you can move. So they have these little blue boots, and so the blue boots move you around the board. And so whatever the number is on there, that's how many hexes that you move on a turn. Now, some of these cards have combos, and that's why it's important to go left to right on the card, because it might be hit and then you get to move, or it might be move and then you get to hit. And so that's really important when it comes to what you're doing on a turn, because if it says hit and then move, if you weren't next to somebody, then you can't hit them. But if it said hit and then get away, now that's a getaway card. Right. Because if your card doesn't have movement, you can't move. And so sometimes you're playing this game of let me move into somebody, hope they don't have a hit card, and then wait it out. They also have these cards that are, I forget what they call them, but impact cards. Right. And it's a blood splatter with a white splatter behind it. So that means if you hit them on that turn, then you get the bonus. So this one says, if I hit you on this turn, then I would get 3 extra favor. Right. Now, some of these cards also have shields or helmets that increases your defense, because ultimately that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to beat somebody up all the way until they go down, and then they're out of the game.
Right.
The tagline to this is easy to learn, easy to die,
Right.
and that's true. Especially with a higher play count, it gets kind of chaotic.
So the first portion of it's actually moving around the board, trying to get your hits, trying to pick up maybe something here to give you some of the bonuses. So basically, like this one right here gives you, what's that, +1?
2+ favor.
2+ favor. So if you come across that spot, you'll get that 2+ favor. So you go through that portion, and then you go to a buying phase after we're done with that. So there's like 2 halves to it, right?
Right.
And then the buying phase, you can buy the cards, and then you can buy these special things here. One being first player,
Which is important.
and then what else do we have? We got the lobby.
Yeah, the lobby. So each round, like I said, you're going to be playing a new theater card. So the lobby, you have to pay 2 favor to do that, but then you can shuffle through here and say, okay, this one's going to go next. So maybe there was one in here that really helped you. Like sometimes there might be one that says gain some defense and you're really low.
Right.
Maybe you spend 2 of your favor to ensure that the next round you get some defense up.
And then, of course, there's the evaluate.
Which would be you take all of the face-up cards, you discard them, and then you're able to draw some new ones, which could be very powerful if you know Homeboy over here has a lot of favor and you don't want him to get that big card. If you had turn order, then you could get rid of those cards, and then maybe he doesn't get what he wants.
And then focus.
Yep, and so focus says you get to remove a card from your hand. So if you've got a card in here, all of your starting cards are not very good.
Right.
They're all single action things most of the time, or either or. So some of the cards have a slash, and you have to choose either a hit or a movement. And so you get to get rid of some bad cards out of your hand. That way the good cards come up more often.
The artwork on it,
it's cool.
We haven't even talked about that yet. That's awesome. I mean, it really is that cool kind of comic book, you know, when they're splattering blood over the screen and stuff. They really do a good job with the artwork with it. The miniatures are fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the cubes, cubes are cubes, right? So
cubes.
they do their job.
Yeah, for me, I really couldn't find anything negative on this one. I mean, honestly, like when I went into it thinking, well, I like Spartacus. I didn't really like the combat in Spartacus.
Right.
But I like deck builders. But I was like, how was that going to work in a fighting game?
Right.
And especially your first couple of rounds when you can't do a whole lot, you're like, this isn't working. But the more of these cards that you get and put these into your hand and they give you all these cool things. Like this is, you get 2 defense plus a 4 hit.
Right.
And if you hit them with that 4, then you get 4 favor.
So the cards really start moving out.
And then there was, what was the one that we did that I loved where, yeah, this one's great. You get to move 2. So I move into you. I hit you for 3. And then I get 3 favor, and I get to move away. This is a win-win. I run in, punch you, the crowd cheers, and then I get out of there, so you can't hurt me, you know?
The game, and with 5 people, it's just chaos. Because you're concentrating on one guy, someone comes after you, all this stuff's happening. So you got to keep an eye on everything that's going on, so you almost have to kind of keep your corner and that type of thing and really watch out for what's going on the board. The game, I thought, played really fun. I thought it was just a lot of fun. It was just a blast.
Well, for me, the deck building aspect really worked because they don't let you combo. So I don't feel like all these people can just beat up on me and do it. You can only do this one thing.
Right.
And so I don't know why I really enjoyed that. I thought that would be a negative because one of the bonuses of deck builders is I do this, then this, then this, then this. But I don't think that would have translated well to a fighting game.
No, you're right. And you're talking about the fact that you only get to play one card, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's by far one of the best things about it because it being a game in combat, you could kill somebody off way too fast if you're able to play your 5 cards out. So that, or even to combo up.
The deck building is cool in that you have to balance movement.
Right.
Because movement and shields,
everything
that you want to do, you really have to think about crafting this deck because you can't just build up all this, pow, 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 because if you get beat up, then there's no way for you to heal, or there's no way for you to move around. So I thought that was cool.
Well, what's really neat about the game, I agree with you 100%, is the fact that when you're doing your strategy, it comes to a point when you have to get your kill. Our last game pretty much went this way. You had to get your kill at that moment because you knew that that was it. That's pretty much all you were going to bring to the table. And that's what happened in the last game that was so much fun because came close to taking it to the kill, but not close enough.
It's like when you got the guy on the ropes and you got to finish him then, you know? There are also beast cards in this, so there's alternate ways to play the game, which I think are cool. And there's these beast cards that you have in the game. They have pillars that you could put out that you have to go around. You can't go through a pillar, so that adds some defense. I'm going to run around the pillar. Now you can't get to me.
Right. I mean, so there's two things here that I felt that I would have liked to have seen, and one of these I thought about at the time, and also have read some other people's views about the game and so on. And it's true on this one aspect. When it comes to the characters themselves, I wish there was something that differentiated them between each other,
like asymmetrical powers. Yeah,
exactly. And so something plus because of that or whatever. But anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is the instruction manual.
Well, yeah.
We struggled with the instruction manual, but because of your knowledge of other games and stuff, you were able to pull it in fairly quickly. But it is, as soon as you start playing it, it does play quickly. You pick it up real quick. And I think it's a game, with the exception of doing some work on the manual, is ready to go.
Oh man,
ready to sell.
This is probably one of my favorite Kickstarters that we've been set. I mean, honestly, this was a game that I thought if it was on the shelf right now, I would tell, man, you got to check this one out. Like if we were reviewing this game, I'd give it a green.
Same here.
We don't review Kickstarters because it's a preview. We don't know how it's going to end up, but if we did, we'd give this one a green.
And I mean, definitely. I mean, they're just not. The thing is that the game is simple enough that you don't need the instruction manual too much. But if they fix that part, it'll be great. Otherwise, I mean, it's ready to go.
I don't know. I really like this.
I do too. This is right now. This is one of my favorite games. Now, I would have to say for Kickstarters to date, this is the best one. To date that we've well, we didn't review them. We previewed them. We previewed them exactly. My favorite. So. My opinion is go out there and push the button and buy it.
Yeah, we're trying to hold back our enthusiasm here. I know. So you can make sure that we are, biased or unbiased.
Exactly.
We're not getting paid for this preview. No, nothing like that. But we really just genuinely enjoyed the game. So.
Yeah, and you'll have a good time. Like 2 to 5 people. It's good. It's a good sized group. It works out. Good game.
There you go. All right, so that is our preview of Carthage. Go online and check it out on Kickstarter and see if this is something that you want to back. And as always,
support your local hobby shop.
Do it.
All right.
Or Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.